Hello, everybody. Welcome to PackReacts. We have our co-host Mike. Where is he? Where are you,
I don't
Mike?
know. Where in the world is Mike? Where is he? You
He's
guys
in
should know this.
Lambo.
Doing a Lambo
Lambo.
leap with Jeremy's best friend, Leroy Butler.
Woohoo!
Jeremy's met Leroy in person. So
Yes, I have. I
yeah.
have. All right, folks. Let's do what we always do. Let's cut to the end.
This is Tom Grossi, and you're watching the PackReacts podcast.
Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to PackReacts. As I just said before, we got Mike in Lambeau Field. As we got him out here, we're awesome to see that. Mike, why are you at Lambeau Field? Let me ask you that.
Just bored.
Okay.
No, it's joint practice week. Patriots in town. Bill Belichick and company. And Wednesday and Thursday joint practices. If you've been following the Twitter page, you saw I did live tweet rundown. Try to stay away from the videos and not get in trouble like our friend Big B, guest of the podcast, did. I sent one video today with the fight. I'm hoping no one cares about that. It's a fight. You can't get any insider information from fights. But no, it was my first time ever at training camp, so it's been a great experience so far. And yeah, if anyone else is at training camp, we're going to be in the game on Saturday. I'm sticking around for the game. Like I said, feel free to reach out. It's been great. So that's why I'm doing a Lambo leap here with our friends, right in front of
Woohoo!
good old Lambeau Field, right there. So
Woohoo!
let's go. So I'm going to try to take this spot for the entirety of the show. But if somebody comes and wants to take a picture, I'm not going to hold it up. So we'll see. Or if security kicks me out, which is also a possibility. But let's see.
All right. So we got Mike doing the Lambo leap out here. I gotta ask you a couple questions since you're out there.
Yep.
What has been the best thing that has happened to you out there? What's been the fun part going out there?
No, I made a little bit of a trip. So I went to Madison first. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. There's like a military helicopter flying over right now.
We hear you fine.
But that's pretty cool, actually. So I went to Madison first. I went to a Frank Lloyd Wright where he lived, Taliesin. I don't know if you know that, Jeremy. Do you know Frank Lloyd Wright?
No.
No, he's like a famous American architect. He built the Guggenheim Museum, like Falling Water, that house in Pennsylvania. You're from Pennsylvania, you should know that.
Yes.
Falling Water. So he's like a famous American architect, and his house, he grew up in Wisconsin. So sorry, there's more helicopters. I hope we're not getting attacked. So yeah, I did that, and then hung out around Wisconsin and came for the joint practices. Tomorrow I'm going to go up to A.J. Dillon's county, the mayor of Door County. So I'm going to go up to the Door County, do some hiking.
Woohoo.
Check that out. I've never been up there, so that'll be interesting. And then Saturday, see if there's any tailgates or whatever, and then the game, and then heading back home. So that's the itinerary here.
Awesome. Now, as it's been reported from Andy Herman that there have been 7 fights that have gone on during this joint practice. Apparently, what are your thoughts on the fights?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call them fights. If you saw my tweets, they were scuffles. I kind of put them. So yesterday was pretty tame. Usually joint practices kind of, you get jarry. You're with players that you don't know personally day to day. They're not on your team. You're really competing. Yesterday was pretty clean. Nothing really happened. There were really no injuries, no fights. Today was a little bit of a different story. There was definitely a lot of jarring, a lot of pushing around. I don't think any punches were thrown, but there were some cheap shots. A Patriots player got thrown out of practice on a punt coverage. He hit. It was too far away to me tell you the numbers and names, so I apologize about that. But he hit after the play was called dead, he hit one of the Packers players full speed in the back and pushed him down. That got him kicked out of practice. The Patriots removed him after that. That created a big scuffle. But, I thought that was actually going to create more of, a problem. Kind of everyone was kind of congregated and made sure everyone kind of got away and separated each other. So it wasn't that big of a deal. So all in all, it was not a bad, jarry, chippy kind of joint practice. It went pretty smoothly both days. And I think it was a really great work for all teams, everyone involved, because basically the majority of it was team periods. So, the way it worked is, 10:30 practice starts. The Packers came out for like 15 minutes. They separated, did their normal thing in practice, I would assume, is defense on one side of the field, offense on the other side of the field. And, they did their positional thing. So quarterbacks, yesterday I was right in front of the cornerback. So I saw Carrington Valentine, Jair, Rasul. Today I did the offensive side of the ball. So it was paying more attention to Love, Watson. And again, if you follow my tweet, threads, you'll see kind of what I thought. But it was just it was good stuff. And once the Patriots came out after that 20 minutes period each day, then they went right into team periods. So they were doing offense, defense, number one offense versus number two defense on one side of the field, and then on the other side was the number one offense for the Patriots versus number one offense for the Packers, and they just would switch, and number 2, 2, 3, 3. So it worked out pretty well. And then they went into 2-minute drills towards the end. That's kind of how they finished it both days. So it was pretty similar practices, and it was good stuff. So that's kind of the way it worked, and didn't seem like there were any major injuries. There was one Patriots player that got carted off. I didn't get carted off, sorry, but he was down for quite a bit, and I think they just he limped off the field, so I don't know his status. From the Packers, it seemed like we got out pretty clean. There was one guy that hurt his hand, and he had to come off, and Dr. McKenzie, I believe, was attending to him. I think it's something with a C. I don't remember his name, honestly. Christ or something.
Okay.
I think he's a tight end. So he hurt his finger. Other than that, not many injuries, although I think Jaden Reed got hurt yesterday, which I didn't see actually happen because I was on that side of the field, but apparently it's not anything serious and he'll be okay, so that's good news.
Okay. What, from this training camp that you've been a part of so far of watching, who's the one player from the Packers that stood out to you the most?
Good question. So I guess let me split it between offense and defense. So on the defense side, I think the person who had the best day yesterday. Today somebody got a pick six, but I wasn't on that side of the field. I just know that side of the field went crazy. So I don't know who did it, but somebody from the Packers got a pick six. So I would say them because that was the biggest play of the I'm going to have to leave. There's people coming to take pictures. I think I would say I said Rasul had a lot of nice plays yesterday and nice pass breakups. And I said this in Twitter. I didn't think anyone had an outstanding day in the defense. Again, Lucas Van Ness was very quiet. I didn't really see much of him. I think Jair was sitting yesterday, so I think Rasul kind of stood out the most to me yesterday, but it wasn't anything major. But on the offensive side of the ball today, the major standout for me was Christian Watson. He made some big-time plays. Love looked pretty good. But Christian Watson, I think, really played well. He had one for Love's first touchdown of the day in team periods. He had a nice over-the-middle deep crossing route that he just beat his man from the line of scrimmage and basically gave Love a huge window to throw into. And, Love hit him, and it was a nice throw from Love. But really what I attribute the touchdown to was Watson's, separation at the line of scrimmage and then, give him a great route for Love just to basically lay it right in there for him. That wasn't even his best play of the day. The best play of the day, in my opinion, from the Packers was Watson, they were playing. It wasn't a 2-minute drill. They were starting like the 15 and then going team periods. And Watson kind of ran through the middle and kind of looked back, ran towards like right sideline, but like middle right of the field. And Love high point, basically kind of overthrew him. Threw it probably a little bit too high. But Watson was able to high point that ball and just like jump up and catch it basically at the highest point and come down with it. And that was a really, really impressive play. So my thing, Watson had a really good day. I didn't see much of Luke Musgrave. I might have missed him a little bit. Tucker Kraft got up slow once. I think somebody hit him high. It was a little bit of a concern about concussion, but it seemed like he kind of came in after that, so I think he was okay. He just came up slow. Dobbs, got like someone was pissing him off on the Patriots. That was the one thing I got to say. Like, if there's one, let me move just in case somebody needs to take a picture here. But if there was one thing I had to say from this, I was a little bit disappointed of. The Patriots, who I would argue we probably have a better team than the Patriots.
Yep.
They were barking on the sideline, man. They were showing a lot of energy, a lot of just team cohesiveness and a lot of energy and a lot of excitement. Packers, just kind of lackadaisical on the sidelines. No issues, but just not excited like the Patriots were. They were barking the whole game. You could hear them from the sideline we were on, just excited, hyping up their teammates. Every time a guy made a play, they were screaming. And the Packers were just kind of, they were a little bit separated and a little bit just like another day in the office, which, I get it, but it's also joint practices. There's a heightened atmosphere going on. So I was a little bit disappointed about that, I'll be honest. But, two good day of practice. I think the Patriots definitely had the Packers number today. Yesterday, I would say a little bit more even. Maybe the Packers had the edge yesterday, but I would say definitely today the Patriots had the edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kept hearing a bunch of reports from either Andy Herman or other Packer beat reporters just saying like Packers got their butts full today, but the Packers won it yesterday, so it's like even here and there. So
Right.
with going to the training camp, what's it like with all the Packer fans there? Of like the bikes, the like seating procedure, like everything of just whole training camp at Lambeau. And
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about that. Also, before I get into that, I just want to shout out Alec, who's in the comments here. He's in our chat that we're in on Instagram, and we didn't get to meet up because of like the rain and whatnot at the practice. But thanks for joining the stream. So if you have any input, because Alec was at the training camp too today. So if you have any input, feel free to write a chat. So this was my first training camp. I've been to Lambeau twice before this. They were both regular season games. I've already spoken about it in the podcast, but it was the Bills game a few years ago, and then what do you call it? The Seahawks game 2 years ago.
Yep.
This is my first time for training camp. Obviously it's over by the Don Hutson Center. It's on the side away from Lambeau, so towards Stadium View. They have permanent bleachers that are set up. There's like 4 or 5 rows. Goes basically the length of the field, and the field is basically 2 fields stitched together. Where on one side of the field you have the defense, one side of the field you have the offense. So that's interesting. One of them, then they have the Dream Drive, which comes out of the bike situation. The problem is you kind of can't do both, because if you want to get a seat on the bleachers, you have to get there early. So gates open about an hour and a half before practice starts. So practice starts 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. You should get there at 9 o'clock, the latest, really, if you want a good seat. So that's what I tried to do. I got a pretty good seat yesterday on the defensive side of the ball. And then today I wanted to do the other side. So luckily they didn't switch sides on me. That's what I was concerned about, is they were going to switch sides and I'd see the defense twice. I wanted to see both, but luckily they didn't. So I saw, the offense today. But yeah, you kind of have to pick. You can't really see both. The bleachers aren't high enough where you can get a good vantage point of both sides of the field. They're only 4 rows. It's one or the other. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot with these beat writers. So half of them will probably take one side, half of them take the other side, but they can't provide the insight of the whole team, because it's just not possible. You can't be looking in two places. But as a fan, if you're trying to do the dream drive and watch practice, that's also tough because, by the time all the players come in and you watch them walk in, then all the seats are taken. So my recommendation, if anyone comes and you're trying to do both, don't do the dream drive going there and get a seat going there, because then, you have a seat, get there at 9. And then maybe leave practice a few minutes early and then try to get set up for the dream drive. I'm 27 now. I can't be acting like some of these kids running up and asking for autographs and all that. So I kind of let the dream drive go. On my way back, I'd stop by, see who's still left. But one thing I noticed too is all the better players, like Aaron Jones, Bakhtiari, all the vets that we have. Not that we have many vets on this team anymore, but all the vets, they get like vanned over anyway. So they come out of Lambeau and they go on basically like a black car across the street, and they're never going on that dream drive anyway. So you're only going to see the young players. But it's definitely a great experience for kids. You can see a lot of kids having a great time, getting autographs, getting their bikes. So it's a great tradition. But yeah, as an adult, it's cool to see him walk by. Maybe I'll give you this observation. So I was talking to Alec about this before, he's in the comments. But not only did Christian Watson have the, camp performances on the field, I think off the field he did too, because both times I walked back from practice, he was so attentive to the kids. Yesterday he had, I think he was on somebody like a older kid's bike, but he was signing all these autographs that he could. And he basically was like the last player out yesterday to send autographs. Today I was talking to one of the event staff for like 6 to 7 minutes, probably like 20 minutes after practice ended. So I'm like, oh man, I was having a good time talking to him, but I was like, I'm not gonna see any of these players go back. I did see Christian Watson go back because he was, one of the last people to leave the facility, the training facility. And he had like a little girl on like a tricycle, and he was just like bending down and pushing her and I could just see the smile on his face and how much he was enjoying it. It was very genuine. So, we always respect Christian Watson's performance on the field. But before today, I didn't really know how he was as a person, but I can see he's really an upstanding guy. And then when I walk back, right before, you go into the stadium, there was just a bunch of kids around him, and he was signing every autograph he could. I kind of almost wanted an autograph. I was about to do it, but I was letting the kids go in front of me. I'm not going to, steal an autograph from a kid. So, by the time he was done with all the kids, they had told him to go and, inside. He had meetings or whatnot. But he did the best he could. So, most players just kind of walk by and don't do anything. So Christian Watson, shout out to you. I mean, I really appreciate kind of the efforts he put in. So I'm just going to tie my shoe real quick. But, on the field and off the field, I really think he's going to become a Packer for life, maybe, honestly. I'm really impressed. So, Christian Watson, that's the one thing I wanted to get out of this episode, is really just give kudos to Christian Watson, because he had probably the performance of camp today, these past 2 days, but also this fan engagement. I think he had the performance of it. So yeah, that's my thoughts there.
All right. Now, since you're in Lambeau Field at this time, what is the one goal, one dream you want to do during your time here, besides going to training camp? What's either having go see stuff at Lambeau Field, do something at Lambeau? What's the kind of your goal, dream to do?
My goal, my dream, or what I recommend people to do if they haven't been to Lambeau before?
You personally, and recommend.
No, I mean, my dream would be to get a house like Corey's got over here, and get a group of people that, either into the podcast, into, Packers media, just big Packers fans, and, just have a good time around the Packers. Being from New York, you being from Pennsylvania, it's tough to get a bunch of people to come up here. If you're not into the Packers, why really would you come up to Green Bay, Wisconsin? unless your team's playing the Packers. It's kind of out of the way. So it's it's fun. It's fun to do this stuff with more people. So meet more people and have fun. Like last night, I went to Stadium View. I can see that's a real fun place for sure when it's packed out for the Packers bars. Actually, a funny story. So I go to Stadium View last night, and I go upstairs. First time I'm ever there. There's a whole bunch of people upstairs, and there was really no one downstairs. I'm like, what's going on upstairs? So I looked at there's like a minor league baseball game going on. It's the Green Bay Rockers. So it's the minor league baseball team in Green Bay. I had looked up because I was looking at things to do. It's not a ton going on in Wisconsin, right? So I was like, maybe there's like a baseball league or whatever. And I noticed that they were in the playoffs. And I was going to look to actually go to the game in Milwaukee, but I wasn't able to make it just timing wise. But I saw that Green Bay was in the league, but I kind of just ended it there. Like, I'm not going to – I don't really care. But so anyway, this was the league. This was the playoffs. So I guess Green Bay was the worst team in like that made the playoffs. But I guess they beat the Milwaukee team, which was the better team. And now they're actually – last night they were in the semifinals. And these guys were taking it seriously. I thought I was in like a Packers game. Like every pitch, there was a guy next to he was like screaming at the top of the lungs. It wasn't just him. It was like this whole top floor about this like basically double-A minor league baseball team that is located in Green Bay. Don't get me wrong, but it's minor league baseball. If that was in Pennsylvania or in Philadelphia or New York, people wouldn't care anything about it, right?
Yeah.
But these guys took it like it was their lives depended on it, and I was impressed. I'm not making fun of them. I think that's actually pretty impressive that they could, care about something that much.
Yeah.
It's minor league baseball. So, yeah, that was interesting. But no, I mean, my main thing, like I said, is just the people. So, if I would always love to work for the Packers someday. That'd be kind of my dream job. It would also require me moving up to Wisconsin, which I don't know if I'm ready to do right just yet. But maybe one day. But if I did get a job at the Packers, I'd try to improve the fan engagement. I think we're doing pretty good, but I really think that the YouTube and kind of like the media space is something they could improve on because there's a lot of third parties that are really good at it, but are the Packers so great at it? Wes is doing a great job, right? Wes came on our podcast, but that's more of a personal endeavor than it is anything backed by the Packers. I think that they should be spotlighting people, spotlighting new creators. Giving people a voice in the games, game like a tailgate thing, like, each game have a Cheesehead TV tailgate, right? Like a Tom Grassi tailgate, and maybe give it smaller people once and just get people, because if you grow the community and get people invested in spreading the word about the team, that's big. And again, it's not like you're in New York where, okay, people are going to come anyway, right? It's in New York. Chicago, right? This is Green Bay. Like you have to get people to want to come here, and the history does it. The allure of kind of the uniqueness of the stadium. I get that, but really, what's going to keep people coming back? And people say, I mean, you go to an Eagles game, everyone's comments are, the fans are terrible to people, right? You go to a Packers game, everyone's like, oh, everyone's very nice. Even to the away fans, they're nice. So, I really think what separates the Packers ultimately is not necessarily the history, not the uniqueness, which is all great, but really what separates is the people of Wisconsin and just kind of the Packers fans. And I think that's something that, if you're not in Wisconsin, you can get through, social media, Reddit, Twitter, all that. And the organization, I think, is a little bit behind the eight ball on adopting that kind of, avenue. And I'm sure part of that's the NFL. They don't want to, if you're not credentialed, they don't want to associate themselves with you. But I think that's kind of a mistake. I think it's kind of a mistake because this is the new wave of media. Print media is kind of dead. The new wave of media is the people. So I think this is where they should lean into. But that's just my opinion. But in terms of just go back to your question, in terms of if you're coming to Lambeau for the first time, I always recommend hit up the the museum, the Packers Museum. That's a great spot. I went there when I first came, so I didn't make it this time. And then I do the Packers tour, definitely the stadium tour.
Yes.
And if you can't do the main one, like the most expensive one, because you usually see the visitors locker room, which I don't think you could see this time because the visitors locker room is taken by the Patriots. You see the press box. If you're gonna do the tour, to me, just do everything, right? Like, why do a lower level? Save $5. So I would definitely recommend doing the tour and the highest one you can do, because sometimes when games are going on, you can't do the highest level one. But definitely do the tour because you get onto the field, get to see some of the backgrounds, and why not? Why not want to see one of the most historic stadiums in the country, up and close and personal? Because during the game is great, but you kind of you're a fan. You can't really leave your area, or it's concessions. There's a whole bunch of other fans everywhere else. You're not going to see the inner workings of the stadium. One thing that they did build this year is that new kind of facility for the players and the coaches and all that, and that's nice. I mean, they did a real nice job. It's basically like right where Lot 1 was, and Lot 1's still there, but they just kind of built into their old parking lot, because now there's a parking lot underneath it, in the underground. But that looks real nice, and there's a nice. I think there's like a conference room you can see from kind of the atrium area outside, and it's got like this beautiful G on like the ceiling. I have a picture. I could actually post it on the Twitter. But you can't see everything from the inside. You could actually see into some people's offices, and you could see like their TVs they have. So I noticed it said like Wednesday, whatever, August 16th or whatever yesterday was, right? And it had like a schedule for them. So I'm assuming that's what they did. They put on like a schedule for the team is. But I don't know whose office I was looking into, whatnot. But you could actually see into people's offices and kind of see what's on their TVs. I saw some people were watching film, but it didn't look like it was like, for football. It was more like they were watching a game of some sort. I don't know. Maybe it was just in the background. But yeah, you can kind of see into that area now. So that's interesting. But it looks like they really have an upgraded setup there compared to what they had before. So I think that's going to be really big. And the other major change this year is, the scoreboards. Scoreboards are gigantic. When I was driving to Green Bay from, Appleton, I could see like miles away the new G lighted up, and just how big the boards were. Apparently they're 4K. They're the width of the field. So I'm excited to see if I'm inside. Like I said, I didn't do the tour this time. I had done it already twice, and they're not cheap. I think they're like $40 bucks. So like, do I really need to do it again? So I'm skipping it this time. But if I ever have new people that come, I'll definitely do it again. Like, I'm not gonna do it for myself. So I already did it, but for new people, it's definitely worth it. But I haven't seen the scoreboards from inside. But Saturday I'll report back. So for next week's episode, I'll let you guys know how it is. But then apparently there's like new signage and stuff around the field, stadium, and better like for concessions and for bathrooms and all that. So apparently there's been some upgrades done, and yeah, it should be good stuff. Nice. So for the most part, though, from a fan engagement perspective, it's pretty much same as last year, other than the billboards or the scoreboards. But from a team perspective, and players and coaches, it sounds like they have a real big upgraded situation.
Definitely. Now, have you tried at Titletown, try to go down the hill and try to do like how in the winter you see sledding, but like are they like open to do the sledding up there?
No. I mean, it's August, so there's no sledding right now. It's grass, so you could go and you can like have a picnic up there. There's like kids like tumbling down, so you could do that. No, I didn't. So I went to Titletown yesterday. I went to Hinterland, but I just kind of walked around. I didn't really do much. This is a solo trip for me, so there's not much to do with by yourself. There's a lot of games and stuff, but I was actually meeting a friend up for dinner yesterday. We just didn't go over there. But yeah, there were definitely people on the hill. There was like a dancing class going on, so they have like events for the community. So that seemed cool. I mean, I wasn't going to dance with anybody, it's just a stranger, so I didn't take part of that. I also had the dinner reservation, but there's always stuff going on. There's a concert going on in Titletown tomorrow. I might head over to, just because what else is there to do. And then I'm probably going to go to Stadium View for that game for the finals, because those guys really excited me about the Green Bay Rockers. So I don't have a Green Bay Rockers jersey or anything, but I'll be rooting for the Green Bay Rockers. So hopefully they win the finals. And imagine, I come here and I see a championship, Green Bay championship one, And I didn't expect that coming here. So, it's not going to be the championship we want, which is the Super Bowl, but it could be. It could be a Green Bay championship. Maybe there'll be parades in the streets. Who knows?
Could be. They could be.
For the Green Bay Rockers. I don't think they would really care that much. But, there's definitely there's a pocket of people that actually care. But I don't know if there's enough for people for parade in the streets.
Yeah. All right. So we've talked with Mike about what it's like at Lambeau Field in the training camp. Let's rewind a little bit here and talk about what happened last week, which was the Green Bay Packers and Cincinnati Bengals. Packers took on the Cincinnati Bengals in the first preseason game. Packers defeated the Bengals 36-19. Jordan Love played in the game only for like a couple series. I think it was 2 series. Went 7 for 10, had 46 passing yards and 1 TD, while Sean Clifford took the majority of it, which was 20 for 26 completions, 208 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions. Just at that, watching the game a little bit here, Mike, what really stood out to you of just like the players or in the game in general?
So, full disclosure, I didn't actually watch the game live. I had something going on, and I'm usually watch every game, but sorry to the viewers for this one. I did not watch the game live. I caught a little bit at the end, but I was like traveling home. I didn't really care. But it was a really, really, really impressive performance from the score-wise, which apparently wasn't Love that put up all those points. It was really Clifford. Clifford had a big game, although he had those 2 interceptions that were pretty ugly. I did catch the what do you call it after the highlights? So I do know a gist of what happened. Obviously, the big news of the day was Tyler Davis's torn ACL, which is unfortunate, especially as he could have a in a wide open tight end room. Although I think we're all in agreement, Luke Musgrave has got to be the guy you invest your time in. He probably was going to be number 2, if not number 3. And he's probably going to be one of the top guys on special teams. He got basically the most snaps on special teams last year. So that's a disappointment, for Tyler Davis to tear his ACL. I think he's going to open up some space to some other guys. So one of the guys that stood out to me, who I didn't know about actually before yesterday, and I actually don't fully remember his name either, so I'm going to sound a little bit silly. But his name is Austin. You have the depth chart behind me, just I'm on my phone. Look up. He's a tight end. Austin.
I'll look it up now.
Avis? Not Avis. Something like that. But he came to the sideline yesterday.
Austin Allen.
Austin Allen. Thank you. I think he's from Texas A&M. He's an undrafted free agent. Came to the sideline yesterday. Seemed like a really nice guy. Was giving autographs to everybody. He was the only player that stayed so late after practice. He was talking to these 2 gentlemen. I don't know if they were his family or I don't know. He probably knows them somehow. But, other kids would come up and ask for his autograph. And, he was very, open to that. So I was impressed. By him. Then today I saw him with his helmet on and everything. And he's pretty tall. He's taller than most of the players on the field. So I think he could, have some impact. Yesterday when I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy's not going to make the team anyway. Who cares? But then I thought about it today. Yeah, but he's a tight end, and Tyler Davis got hurt, so I think he actually got a good chance to make the team. Because just think about it, right? Luke Musgrave's a lock. Tyler Kraft's a lock.
Yep.
I mean, who else? The Guara, I guess, but he's like this H-back tight end role.
He's technically a fullback is what he is, but still, I think he has a good shot because since Tyler Davis got hurt, he's the third guy for tight ends.
Right, so I think he might actually make it. And if not, he's definitely going to be a practice squad guy. So if he doesn't get claimed by anyone else, which I probably doubt he get claimed by anybody else. So yeah. I think, that should be an interesting, development.
Mm-hmm.
But about the game. So, Clifford really, when I was watching the highlights, Clifford really stood out to me. He looked decisive. Everyone was making the comparison to Brett Favre, and I kind of saw it. He looked like a little bit of a gunslinger out there making some, he was able to put the ball where he wanted with some accuracy, some zip on it. Yep. And he really impressed me. Packers moved up and down the field with him in there. those two two interceptions, pretty bad. I think he's got to definitely have some ability to either get the ball out quicker. That was the one thing I also saw about him that was negative in practice today. He let some plays go on for too long. You should either thrown the ball away or knew where to go a little bit earlier. He let him go on for too long and gave himself up for a sack, or just threw the ball away when it was too late. He probably would have got sacked if it was actual tackling. So that's my one issue with Clifford. But I was pretty impressed. I'm still pretty impressed. I think he was definitely worth being drafted. I do not think that he's going to get any starting snaps this year unless Love gets hurt, and knock on wood that doesn't happen.
Yep.
But I think he's a guy that is, what do you call it? Worthy of the backup spot at this point. So yeah, I'm excited about that. They had the guy in from McDowell or something from the USFL. He won the championship there.
Yep.
Apparently he was good there. I'll be honest, I did not watch the USFL. I'm kind of curious to watch the championship game. Apparently he played really well. But he has not looked good in these two training camps. I honestly, I don't know. He just kind of stood around in the pocket. He wasn't very decisive. I don't think he makes the team. If maybe practice squad. I mean, obviously he's not going to make the team, but I'm more like, is he going to make the practice squad? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Probably because you kind of have to have three quarterbacks. So unless they get to pick somebody else with somebody else, another practice squad somewhere, or another team that gets cut, he'll probably make it. But yeah. So, but the one thing I wanted to mention too from practice, and I guess we could go into it's also the what do you call it? The Cincinnati game.
Yep.
Anders Carlson. I mean, I'm not the first one to say this. Kind of beating a dead drum here, but I don't know, man. Like he had one of the ugliest kicks I've ever seen in my life in practice yesterday, and they didn't even kick today in practice. They didn't kick any field goals, so he didn't even get any opportunities today. But I don't know this kick. I mean, did you hear about this kick on Twitter?
Yes, I did hear about the kick. It was not that good.
No, it was not that good. It was like I was kicking it. Honestly, I might have done a better kick. Like, no, I definitely couldn't. I could hardly kick from like 2 feet. So effectively, what happened was it was a 2-minute drill. The Packers had scored a touchdown, but for some reason, and it was a really nice play. Malik Heath, who retweeted me and liked me today, I think he made the play on the outside, and we were all excited that they scored on a 2-minute warning. But for some reason, I don't know, it was a false start, a hold. They called it back on a penalty. It's hard to tell because the referee isn't mic'd up. So, they make a call. You see him throw the flag up, but you don't know what the call is. They're not mic'd up. That's the one thing I got to say. Like, the fan engagement's not that great. Like, there's no, like I said, the ref's not mic'd up, so you don't know what the call is. There's no, like, announcer. It'd be nice if there was an announcer, like, telling you what was going on in the field, like, on both sides, too, so you kind of knew what's going on. But I know it's a practice. It's more for the players and the fans. But it should be – I think they could improve that a little bit. But anyway, I'm a little bit digressing. So anyway, so that play got called back on a penalty. They run out the kicking unit onto the field. And yesterday was really windy. Beautiful day out yesterday, but really windy. Today was nice, but then it was cloudy. And then, like, rain cloud came over the stadium. It was, like, the only rain cloud in, like, sight. But it was right over the stand. It poured for like 5 minutes and like cleared the whole place out, but then it like got nice again after 5 minutes, so it wasn't a big deal. It just he kind of got poured on for a few minutes there. But anyway, yesterday with the wind, Anders Carlson kicks his ball. Let's say it's about a 40-yarder. Kicks it. I was listening to Andy Herman today. Basically in the same trajectory he would like without the wind going on, and it just got stuck. Like he kicks it up, the wind is blowing at him. But the thing is, that's not an excuse because part of being a kicker in Green Bay or anywhere is you have to deal with the conditions. So you have to adapt for the wind. Now, the one thing I'll give him is, it's not like Lambeau Field where it's a bowl, right? And the wind isn't coming directly at you; it's coming like down and in the bowl, and it's kind of like circling, which might make it even more difficult. I don't know, but I guess in terms of like creating like a wall that's going to stop the ball would probably be more like in this practice field. But yeah, so the ball goes like straight up and then kind of stops and just falls down. So the ball ended up being like 15 yards short of the goalpost. It's a 40-yard field goal, and it landed like 15 yards short. It wasn't like he shanked it. Like he got it was fine. It was a good hold. He got good kick on it because the ball went up and it just stopped. Yeah, it got caught up in the wind. It stopped and fell. I'd never really seen anything like that before, and I don't know if that would even happen in Lambeau, like I said, because of the wind not coming directly at you. But it was weird. It was very weird and not good because the Nick Folk, the Patriots kicker, after it kicked basically the same ball in the same wind. They said it was a miss, even though I think it was a make, because the way that their goalposts have for practice, it was like a net in the goalpost.
Yeah.
So because it was windy, the net was being blown out of the goalpost, so the ball hit the net and kind of fell down. So it's hard to tell if it really would have went in or not because, the net knocked it down. So the referees called it no good, but a lot of people thought it would have went in. I kind of thought it would have went in. So I don't know. I'd say it's good, but it was definitely a better kick than what Andrews Carlson did. And, with Andrews Carlson missing all these extra points in the game against Cincinnati and being up and down all training camp, I'm worried about it. I'm a little bit worried about it because, like I said, I think it's good to go all in on the young players right now. But with kicker, if you got to trot somebody out there that can make these kicks. Otherwise, we're going to just miss them in real games, and that's not going to be any fun.
No.
So we need somebody that can kick the ball. And if he's going to be this, with kicker, it's either like you're decent or you're not. Like it's kicking a ball. Like it's not anything that is going to really change over time. Like can you kick the ball or not? So like hopefully he puts that better performance than he has because Packers probably should get some competition. I agree with some of the beat writers on that. Like I don't see the downside to get competition with what do you call it? Carlson, and it seems like that's what's necessary. They have 2 punters and 2 long snappers, only 1 kicker. A little bit suspect to me. And Herman gave a good point today. Maybe part of Carlson's issues is the fact that they're switching out the holding team, like the holder and the long snapper, every time. They're trying to get the 2 punters to see, and then the 2 long snappers. They're trying to get them work, but Carlson's kicking both, so it's like it's a little bit inconsistent. They're kind of in the middle, where he's not getting a consistent hold in place, and he's trying to kick the ball, so it's kind of a little bit off. Like they should probably make that decision and then, see how he progresses that way. I don't know why they need 2 punters and two long snappers.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I'd rather have 2 kickers. You kind of know who. I think we all think that O'Donnell is going to be the punter, right? You really think they're not going to make O'Donnell the punter? So I don't know why they have another guy in there or why they have another long snapper. I feel like it's a waste of time. I kind of agree with Herman.
Yeah, I just think it's like pointless if you're having a punter out because we all know O'Donnell's gonna be a punter when you sign him to the contract for that when he's gonna be most likely to be the punter, and you have this rookie kicker, you might want to throw in like more competition. And maybe put Crosby out there. I mean, yes, Crosby's old and everything, and like it's kind of time to move on from the veteran, but like put him in or like have him like come out for a trial or something. That way you can kind of force him to like get some competition out there.
I disagree on that. I wouldn't. If I was going to bring some competition, I wouldn't bring Crosby. I mean, we already know what Crosby is.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to make sure that he stays in shape and can kick. He's kicking on his own, but I don't know if he's the competition to bring in. I think you need another young guy to bring in the competition. Right now, I think if you bring in Crosby, which apparently I don't know, he was getting some offers today from like Cincinnati or Cleveland or something. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but. So if he's still available, and the Packers have a chance to make the playoffs late in the season, but their weak link is Andrews Carlson, I think that's when you bring in Crosby. If they have a chance to make the playoffs, and you bring him in because who cares if you're about to make the playoffs and you need a reliable kicker, that's when you bring in Crosby, and I think that's what they're going to do if he's available. But I think they probably know they're probably not going to make the playoffs, and. It's probably not going to be a problem anyway, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they could bring Robbie Gould in since he's currently a free agent.
Yeah, like I said, I think they want to go the young route. I don't think they're going to bring in a veteran until later on in the season. That's what I would do. Let's go the young route. Let's see if we can get somebody that's going to be a long-term solution here instead of a stopgap. Because we don't need a stopgap. We need a long-term solution, right? So I want to have somebody in there that has long-term potential. But again, if we're going to make the playoffs and that's our weak link, then yeah, we want a stopgap right now. But that's later on in the season, I would say. Let's, you really think we're going to lose because of a kicker in the first? Maybe you could.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I think we have to see that. That's part of the progression here. We need to see what the young guy can do, and it's not like we don't have a kicker. We have somebody there that should be able to make these kicks. If he doesn't, then we might have a different conversation.
Yeah.
In real game.
Yeah, definitely. Before we head towards this preview of the Packers Patriots game, I'd like to touch on two things for me from the Bengals Packers game. Two players that really stood out to me was the undrafted Emmanuel Wilson, the running back, who had 6 carries for 111 yards, 2 TDs, very fast kid. Love seeing what he could do. I hope the Packers can keep him. Hope to see that, honestly. Maybe put him back in the special team era, like something around there. And then the other player that stood to me from the defense side was Carlton Valentine. Valentine has been really good of like the pass breakup and the coverage. I think he could like play a role because they were mentioning it. I think it was Rasul or some beat reporter was mentioning about like Rasul going to safety. Now that wouldn't be a bad solution if you put Valentine out there, because I think if Valentine is like having a good training camp, you put Rasul out to the safety and you have Savage out there, it makes it better secondary.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, happy birthday, by the way, to Emmanuel Wilson, right? That's his last name?
Yes.
Yeah, that was his birthday, and he, had a big day. Great play. I think I'm something he'll remember for the rest of his life. Does that really move the needle for me to make the team or not? Probably not. This is something that Herman, who says I'm not going to take this for myself, but he needs to make this team by special teams and blocking. Big runs like that are great, but it's against backups and third stringers, and he needs to be a what do you call it? A reliable backup running back. So great play, great for his birthday, great story, but long term, I think he needs to focus on, obviously running. Don't get me wrong, but the main things is the blocking and the special teams performance for him. So great game for him. That's a big play, big exciting play. Got points on the board. So not taking anything away from that. But obviously we don't play for the preseason, play for the regular season, and that's what I want to see from Emmanuel Wilson moving forward is his attention to blocking, his attention to route running and as a pass catcher, running the ball obviously, but also special teams. Special teams are where he's going to make his money. Carrington Valentine. I don't know what I could say about Carrington Valentine. He's 7th round pick, and has probably been the MVP of camp so far, just from hearing everybody. I watched him yesterday. He didn't really have any outstanding plays yesterday. Again, I wasn't really watching the defensive side today. Maybe he was the one with the pick 6. I don't know. I doubt it. Just what's the chances of that? Somebody got a pick 6. So I don't know. I had to look back at Twitter to see who got the pick 6 today. But he had an interception in the what do you call it? The Cincinnati game. A bunch of pass breakups. He's looking good, and LaFleur has noticed it. They're saying they're going to try to get him in wherever possible. Player out of Kentucky, so he's got some D1 experience. He's got played against good receivers, and he's got the experience. I don't know why he won in the 7th round if he has this much talent. But I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's a tall kid. He looks like he's confident. So I think he's got the potential there. And I think if you move Rasul to safety, that could make sense because, who's our safeties right now? Darnell Savage, who hopefully takes a step up, but obviously didn't have a great year last year. And then on who Owens, Gabby, what do you call it?
Gabby's
not Gabby, sorry. Simone Biles' husband.
Yes.
He's new. He came from Houston, I think, last year. We don't know where we have in him yet, but what other safety do we really have? Anthony Johnson Jr., another 7th rounder, but I haven't heard that much about him this training camp. So if you could put Rasul on and get Carrington Valentine on the field with Rasul. The other wild card obviously is Eric Stokes if he comes back. I think he might have been practicing today actually. I could be wrong about that, but yesterday he definitely wasn't practicing. But I don't know when he's going to come back and if he'll be the same player. So there's definitely going to be an opportunity for Valentine, and he's earned it. So I'm excited about him.
Yeah, definitely Valentine. I mean, the other guy also out there for safety is Rudy Ford. but that's still, we don't know what the competition is
Ford,
going to
yep.
be like out
That's
there
correct.
for that, for
Yeah,
the
you
safety
got Levitt
position. Because
too.
that's that's going to be the big question out there for the safety of who's going to be right next to Darnell Savage.
Right.
That's going to be it. All right. So let's move on to our last topic here before we head out. That is this upcoming week of the Packers-Patriots game. We'll let Mike start out since he's got the info for us and knows what is going on with the practices. What do you think about this upcoming preseason game for the Packers, and what are you looking forward to?
No, I'm excited. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be there. Section 117. So if anyone's in the area, let me know. Yeah, it should be a fun game. You know, it's a preseason game. I'll be honest, because I was at the waiting. I didn't listen to LaFleur's press conferences. Do you know if the stars are going to play? Has he say anything about that yet? Maybe he'll say it on Friday or Saturday.
I think he said some of them were not going to play. I think it was Jair Bach. I think it was. No, I don't think it was Bach.
Like the
I think
injured ones?
Yeah, I think the injured one. I think like Jair's not playing, but I know Jordan. He's playing a couple series like we did against Cincinnati. So probably 2 series reps against New England, then give it to Clifford a bit. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to play.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they do a similar thing to Cincinnati. I think that's the plan. It should be the plan, because it's just to me what makes sense. But yeah, I think you definitely see some starters out there. I think it's gonna be a good game. You know, it's the only preseason game in Lambeau this year. When do they play Oakland the next week? Am I right about that? I've said that to a few people, so let me make sure I'm right because I honestly don't remember.
Give me 1 second. They play Seattle next week.
In Seattle?
No, at home.
Oh,
that's a 1 o'clock game.
Okay, so never mind. So there's two games at home. So I was wrong about that. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna let's get Lombardi in the picture. Let me move over there. But what do you call it? I think it's gonna be a good game and it's exciting. I mean, I've never been for a preseason game before, so it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see kind of what fans show up. I'm sure it's gonna be a packed house. But the tickets are pretty cheap. I got my ticket for like $22. It's in like section 117. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
There he is.
Woohoo!
Vincent and Curly making an appearance on the podcast. Who would ever have thought,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't have a lot to say other than I hope to see some of the players, some of the starters on. I really want to see like Clifford kind of leave where he left off last game.
Yep.
I want to see Packers win, obviously. But yeah, I guess from the Patriots side, I'm excited to see Zeke or Elliott if he plays.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a preseason game. I'm gonna be excited. I'm not gonna be going crazy like it's a regular season game probably, but it should be a fun time. What about you?
Yeah. Definitely. For me, I like the same plans we're doing, like what they did against Cincinnati, of having some of the veteran guys not play, but Jordan plays a couple of reps. I'm really interested to see like some of the young guys just show out. Like I mentioned last week when we were talking about it, Valentine is the name up there. I do want to see how the connection between Romeo Dobbs, hopefully he's healthy. I want to see the connection between him and Jordan, or him getting a couple reps here and there. I also, my one thing I said this last week too, is the offensive line. I want to see Josh Myers out there because he has not had a good training camp so far. I've heard the reports he got beat up like yesterday, like on a play, and he just hasn't been the same guy. That's my one concern, to see him. Can he improve a lot for that center role? Because that's a very important position, especially for Jordan Love his rookie year and his young QB.
Yeah, so it should be fun. It's gonna be my first game really since we've been back, because I didn't watch last week's game. So I'm excited. Football is back, although it's back for most people last week, but I didn't watch it last week. So it's back for me. So that's the biggest excitement I have. I watched both practices today, so it's kind of already been back for me. But it's exciting a game. Get some hitting going on. actual keeping score. Exciting. We're back in the season. New season of PackReacts, Jeremy. We're going to get some good guests on this year and hopefully build our viewer base. And met some nice people out here at training camp. So all good stuff, and it should be exciting. We got to still got to make it out to a game though, Jeremy. We got to make it out to Lambeau, and we'll do a live podcast from here.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how we do it. Maybe I go on one side of the field, you go on the other side of the field. Exactly. It's kind of weird to do it in one thing, but we'll figure it out. But no, we got to get like I said, more people and come up. We got John on the podcast last week, and I'm going to be out here with him for week 1 or week 3, but the New Orleans game, so that should be cool. I think that Alec, who's in our chat that was in the comments earlier, I don't know if he's still here, but I think he's from the area. We got to find a good group of people to come watch some games here with. That's the most exciting part.
Exactly. Well, before we head out, Mike, do you like to say something out here since you're out here in Lambeau Field?
Yeah, I would. Like they say here in good old Green Bay, Wisconsin, go Pack, go.
Exactly.
Beat the Patriots.
Yes, beat the Patriots too.
Suck.
The Bears still suck. That's so true. Where can the people find you as usual as we do here on the channel?
Well, today you can find me at Lambeau Field, the Mecca. I made my pilgrimage, first time in a few years out to Lambeau. I'll be back next month. So yeah, that's where you can find me right now. But no, usually you can find me on the Twitter page, PackReacts.
Yep.
That's we're going to be building that. We're going to be hopefully getting some shorts and some stuff out this year. Instagram, Titletown memes, or just my Twitter page. Personal Arvo15. That's where you can find me. But we're gonna try to take some. We were talking to Jeremy yesterday. We got to have a production meeting pretty soon. See what we can do to get some more fan engagement, because this is a great platform. Not many people around here have it, stuff like this. I've telling people with podcasts, people ears prick up, and they're like, "Oh, really? Podcast? Tell me more about it." So, I can say we don't have a ton of viewers, but it's fun. We get some people on, and it's just a conversation. That's all it is. So, hopefully people are watching, enjoying. We want to get more people involved, because not for our numbers, not for our compensation, just for the fun of it, and just to get people involved.
Exactly. Well, folks, you already know where to find me right here on this channel. The videos, the GOAT series, which we're almost close to being done. Fullbacks comes out this weekend, and a special Packer makes it on my list here. We all know that. And for other videos, we have the top 10 quarterbacks coming out soon for 2023. Staying predictions also coming out soon for 2023. So we're having that coming out very soon. And we're continuing the GOAT series. I just filmed quarterbacks yesterday. That is not coming out for weeks, because I got a whole fun intro to set for everyone. So we're going to have that. But yes, we appreciate, if you're still out there, ladies and gentlemen, watching PackReacts, we appreciate all the viewers and doing this fun conversation. It's always fun doing this with Mike. Absolutely fun.
All right, we're doing the outro. I'm gonna run the outro this time, right?
Yes.
All right, guys. So, another successful PackReacts. I just got one thing to tell you.
Ready?
Go Pack, go, baby. Go Pack.